Okay. So we go on to chapter 4. Demand. When we talk about demand, we're talking about the quantity of goods and services consumers are willing to buy at a given price and time. So demand is the amount of a product that consumers are willing to and able to purchase at any given price. That is what demand is. And we have the demand curve, which is a graph that shows the relationship between the quantity demanded of a product and the price of the product. So we'll go on. That's the demand curve. Then we have, so yeah, there's always an inverse relation between price and quantity demanded. What does that imply? It means that as price goes up, the quantity demanded falls, and vice versa. As price comes down, the quantity demanded increases. That brings about the law of demand. The higher the price, the higher the quantity. The higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded, or the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. That's why it's inverse relationship. So we go to the factors leading to a change in demand. So for the price of a product, they said the price of a product has a significant influence on its demand. For most goods and services, higher prices will tend to reduce demand and lower prices will tend to raise demand. However, there are several other factors that can lead to a change in demand. Changes in these factors, which are outlined below, will actually shift the demand curve. This is different from a price change, which results in a movement along the demand curve. For movement along the demand curve is as a result of a change in price. At that point in time, all other factors remain constant. So, but if we have to talk about shift in demand, it means price remains constant, ceteris paribus. So, when we talk about movement, it's basically either contraction or expansion. That is as a result of price. But here we want to talk about other factors that affect price, which will shift the demand curve, either to the right or to the left. The first one is prices of substitutes. For prices of substitutes, many goods sold by businesses have a substitute. For example, a consumer buying a can of Coca-Cola might have considered other brands such as Pepsi or a supermarket own label. Most consumers would consider these as good substitute. So the price of substitute will affect demand. If the price of a substitute product falls, the quantity demand of the substitute rises. As a result, the demand for the product would fall. If a product has a lot of close substitute, then the prices of these will affect demand significantly. So the price of substitute is this. If the price of a substitute product falls, the demand for such product would increase. So if you as a business, you are part of those competition and you are not reducing your price, the demand for your own products would reduce, shifting the demand for your products leftward. And the demand for the product that its price has fallen, the substitute that the price has fallen, shifting it rightward. That's a shift in demand. Do you get it or not?
Yes.
A shift in demand, a fall in the price of a substitute product increases the quantity demanded for such substitute product, shifting it rightward. If you, as a competitor, you did not reduce your price, consumers will stop buying your own products. Yeah. The demand for your own product will fall, shifting the demand for your product leftward.
Yes.
From D to D2.
Yeah.
Is it clear? Yes. That's the point they're making there. So that's for price of substitutes. We have price of complements. And when we talk about complements, it's that consumers sometimes purchase certain goods together. This is because two goods are used together. So we call it complement because these goods, they have to be used together for you to derive consumption or utility. So this is, okay. So for complementary goods, demand for such products, they said here. Okay. Okay. In this example, milk and cornflakes and cars and car insurance are complementary goods. Demand for such products is likely to be affected by the price of complementary goods. For example, a reduction in the price of skiing accessories may encourage more people to try skiing. This would be shown by a shift in demand from D to D1. So what they are saying is this: if the price of a complement falls, the demand for such products would increase. So the product that is being used with, the demand would increase. A complementary product, like we're talking about cornflakes and milk. Okay. If the price for cornflakes reduces, this might increase the demand for milk, yes, which is a complement. That is the point they are making. So if the price of a complementary product falls, that might increase the quantity demanded of its complement, shifting it rightward from D1 to D2. Is it clear?
So the demand for both will increase.
Yes, yeah. Yes, that's what it means. The third one, changes in consumer income. The amount of money that people earn will influence the amount and types of goods that they buy. Generally, when income rises, demand for goods will also rise. So for income, changes in income also affect demand. If the level of income increases, demand for goods will increase in that economy, especially for normal goods. So at that point in time, because it is income, so when income level increases, demand for normal goods will increase. The demand for inferior goods will reduce, shifting the demand for normal goods rightward from D1 to D2. While for inferior goods, the demand for it will reduce, shifting it leftward from D to D2.
Yeah, plus increase in income.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So that's about income. Then we have fashion, taste, and preference. Over a period of time, demand pattern change because of changes in consumer taste and fashion. So what we're talking about is this.
Yes.
Whenever there's a latest product, whenever there's new products in town, the old ones become out of fashion. So consumer tends to buy the latest than buying old fashioned. As a result, those latest ones, their demand will increase, shifting it rightward from D to D1. While the old fashioned ones becomes what consumers don't want to buy. So the demand for it will reduce, shifting it leftward from D to D2. Is it clear? Marketing, advertising, and branding. Businesses try to influence demand for their products through advertising and other forms of promotion. If goods are heavily advertised, demand for them is likely to increase. This is how it works. For advertisement, a successful advertisement will mean that the quantity demanded for the good will increase because you have created awareness and now customer knows about the product. The demand curve will shift rightward from D to D1. Clear?
Yeah.
A brand that is strong will have consumers attached themselves to it, shifting the demand curve rightward. Clear?
Yeah.
Promotion. If promotion is successful, that means prices are falling. And we know consumers are conscious about price. So if prices are falling through discount, the demand for such goods will increase, shifting the demand curve rightward.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
So we have demographics.
Yeah.
We go to demographics. As population grows, there will be an increase in demand for nearly all goods and services. However, demand is also affected by the structure of the population as well as its size. So here we're talking about, when we talk about demographics, we're talking about population. So it could be the size of population or the structure of the population. When we talk about the structure of the population, we talked about the old ones, the younger ones, the middle-aged, the male, the female. These are structure. And when we talk about the size, how many are they? I think it's clear.
Yes.
So the age distribution of the population. So factors that affect demand under demographics one, the age distribution of a population is the numbers of people that fall into different age groups. For example, so the age distribution is one of the factors that would affect demand through demographics.
Yes.
So how the ages are will determine what they demand for.
Yeah.
That's the point they are making there. There are slightly more women than men overall in many countries. So the older age groups of the number of women compared to men increases. Consequently, the gender distribution of the population is likely to affect demand patterns. For example, there will be a greater demand for women's clothes than men's clothes. So still the structure. So we're talking about the pattern of men and women. If more women are in the population than men, it means demand for women's stuffs would increase than the men's stuff. So businesses will do more women businesses than men. That's the point they're making there. I think it's clear.
Yeah.
So we go to geographical distribution, where people are located. Geographical distribution can also affect demand. Increasingly, in most developed and developing countries, more and more people live in urban areas. As a result, demand for schools and hospitals in these areas, for example, will be higher than in rural areas. So where you are situated, your location, how rural it is, how developed it is, might also determine demand for goods or services in that area.
Yes.
So if it is an urban area, demand for schools might increase. But for rural areas that are not developed, like Tauna and these areas,
Yes.
they might not have international schools there. So the demand for international schools might not increase there. That's the point they are making. I think it's clear. Other factors can affect the structure of the population, such as the nature of households.
Yeah.
The nature of households, that means we're talking about the kind of family they have. Are they nuclear? Are they extended? Who are they? That can also determine demand.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes.
So that's all about that. Then we go to external shocks. For external shocks, we're talking about factors that are beyond the control of the business. So one of them are competition. So there's nothing you could do as a business to stop competition. There's nothing you can't stop other businesses from coming into the market. So because in as much as you cannot stop them, that means you have to share the customers in the market. So that means your revenue will fall. So demand for your goods and services will fall because other businesses have come in and customers they might be getting your customers. Do you get the point? So increasing competition reduces the demand for your product, might reduce the demand for your product. Shifting the demand for your product to leftward. Do you get it?
Less market.
So demand curve will shift leftward as a result of that.
Yeah.
For government can influence demand in a number of ways. Raising taxes, for instance, could decrease demand for many products because spending power would be restricted. New laws can affect demand. For example, legal measures designed to increase competition in the market for gas and electricity might result in a fall in demand for the existing operators in the market. So government can also influence demand. If government raises tax, it reduces the spending power of household. As a result, demand for goods and services might fall.
Yes.
Shifting demand curve leftward. Economic climate, we're talking about the economic situation. So if the economy is booming, demand in the economy will decrease, shifting demand curve rightward. If the economy is in decline, maybe through recession, aggregate demand in the economy will fall, demand in the economy would fall, shifting demand curve leftward. Clear?
Yeah.
That's economic climate. Then we have social and environmental factors. For social and environmental factors, demand for some goods might be affected by changes in society. For example, there has been a huge increase in demand for social media. New social websites have emerged as a major means of communication. These are helped to increase the demand for mobile phones, apps, tablets, smartphones, and related services. So what they're talking about social and environmental factors are, for social, the society can also influence things. For example, look at the social media. So demand for social media continues to increase. As I saw, different companies, different businesses are trying to explore how to come up with their own app so that they can also sell, because the market for that is increasing. That's about social. I think it's clear.
Yes.
And for environmental factors, we're talking about factors that could make or mar the environment, maybe through pollution. So businesses might start thinking about how to reduce pollution. So because customers start becoming conscious about businesses that are not environmental friendly. So if you are not environmentally friendly, that means you are not socially responsible. You might not be selling well.
Yes.
That's the point they are making there. So businesses start thinking about the needs of the customers. Oh,
So that was the brand image then.
yeah. So that's the point they're making there.
Yeah.
Then we have the last one, I think. Seasonality. Some goods and services have seasonal demand. This means that demand rises at particular times of the year. For example, in the many countries with a mild climate, demand for garden furniture. With mild climate, demand for garden furniture rises rises in late spring when the weather starts to improve. Similarly, demand for warm clothing such as coats and wool jumpers rise in the late autumn when the weather turns colder. Demand is also influenced by calendar events such as Christmas, Easter, Ramadan, the Chinese New Year, Diwali in India, Thanksgiving Day in the US, Mother's Day, St. Valentine's Day, and Halloween. So when we talk about seasonality, we're talking about demand which comes as a result of specific period within that year. That is seasonal. So, at this present point in time, demand will always increase. Oh, it's Christmas, demand will increase. Oh, it's Ramadan, demand for dates will increase. Oh, do you understand?
So changes in an event.
Yeah.
Events.
And that could shift demand curve rightward or leftward. Is it clear?
Yes.
So that's all about demand, I think. So you have to answer the questions.
Yeah.
Then the next topic will be supply, right?
Yes.
Okay.